If you don't want to be like everyone else, then you have to make the sacrifices others aren't willing to make. Those words hit me like a hammer when I was in my early 20s. No qualifications, no money, no safety net. And yet, something inside me refused to settle. I made a decision that would change everything. I would do what others feared to do. I would make sacrifices when others chose comfort. Fast forward to today, I'm a multimillionaire, running a brand that sells worldwide. But let me be brutally honest with you. Success didn't come because I was smarter, luckier, or better connected. It came because I avoided the traps that most people fall into without even realizing it. Right now, you might be standing at the edge of a decision that will define your entire future. If you follow the crowd, you already know where that leads. Debt, regret, broken dreams. But if you're ready to step into the 1%, the real winners, then today you must start doing what the 99% refuse to do. In this video, I'm going to expose the 7 deadly mistakes that keep people stuck, broke, and living small. And more importantly, I'll show you exactly how to break free. Which one of these 7 traps do you think you might already be falling into? Comment below right now with your guess, and stay tuned until the end to find out if you were right. Let's get into it. The trap of working only for money. Have you ever been tempted to take the easy money? A well-paying job that looks impressive to your friends, a steady paycheck that makes your parents proud. It feels safe. It feels smart. But it's a trap. One of the deadliest traps there is. Imagine 2 different paths. Path A. You land a boring but high-paying job. At first, life feels good. You start stacking cash, upgrading your lifestyle, earning approval from everyone around you. But here's the dirty secret. Your skills stop growing. Your earning potential plateaus. Your value in the market starts to shrink. You become dependent, trapped by the very money you chased. Path B. You choose a tough, low-paying job that challenges you. It's brutal in the beginning. You might struggle to pay rent. You might eat ramen noodles for months. Your friends think you're falling behind. Your family worries. But underneath all that pain, something extraordinary is happening. You're building skills. Real, rare, valuable skills. Skills that no economic crash can take away. And as your skills grow, your earning power skyrockets. You create value. You create freedom. Every self-made millionaire I know followed Path B, without exception. When I was 16, I left school with nothing. No diploma, no degrees, just a dream. I had 5 job offers on the table. I could have taken an easy office job and started making decent money. Instead, I chose to become a carpenter's apprentice. The pay was terrible. The work was exhausting. But I wasn't working for money. I was working for skills. Those skills became my secret weapons. Years later, when I built my own brand of radio-controlled planes, I used the craftsmanship, patience, and design instincts I learned as a teenage apprentice. Even though that manager bullied me so badly that I had to quit, he couldn't take the skills I had earned. Skills are forever. Today, with the rise of online business, there's an even bigger opportunity. High-income skills like copywriting, video editing, coding, they're in massive demand. And guess what? 99% of the people claiming to have these skills aren't good enough. The competition is weak. If you commit to mastery, you can dominate. Money fades. Flashy titles fade. But your skills, they make you recession-proof, bulletproof, unstoppable. Let me ask you, are you chasing easy money, or are you building unstoppable skills? Comment below. Be honest with yourself. Because the path you choose today will define the life you live 5 years from now. The trap of buying a luxury lifestyle too early. Close your eyes for a second and picture this. You're cruising down the sunlit streets of Dubai in a brand new yellow Lamborghini. You step out, shades on, Walk into a luxury restaurant and drop $500 on a single steak without blinking. Everyone's watching. You look like you've made it. But here's the truth they don't want you to know. Most of the people flexing that lifestyle are drowning in debt. They don't own the Lamborghini, it's leased. They didn't pay cash for that trip to Dubai. It's sitting on a credit card they can barely afford to pay off. The steak at Salt Bay's restaurant? It's a status symbol they'll regret next month when the bill comes due. It's all smoke and mirrors. Social media has made pretending to be rich easier than ever. And the real tragedy? Good people, people like you, fall for the illusion. You start thinking you're falling behind because your life doesn't look like a music video. You start feeling pressure to fake it too. But let's talk about reality for a second. 37% of Americans can't afford a $400 emergency. 60% of households can't afford to buy a new car. And over 40% of people are living paycheck to paycheck. The majority are not living well. They're living stressed. You see, in the beginning stages of building real wealth, you have two choices. You can look rich, or you can become rich. You can't do both. When I started making my first real money, I was tempted too. I wanted the flashy car, the big house, the instant validation. But I made a promise to myself. No luxury until my assets could pay for it. Instead of blowing money on watches, designer shoes, and $1,000 nights out, I bought assets, stocks, crypto, real estate. I built real wealth, slow, steady, boring. And guess what? Today, if I want a Lamborghini, I could buy it cash. But you know what feels even better than flexing? Freedom, security, peace of mind. If you can delay gratification, even just for a few years, you can live the rest of your life doing and buying whatever you want. So let me ask you, are you working to impress strangers or building a future your future self will thank you for? Comment below. I want to hear your honest answer, because once you choose wisely, you'll never have to fake success ever again. The trap of doing everything yourself. One of the fastest ways to sabotage your success is believing you have to do it all alone. I get it. We grow up glorifying the lone wolf, the self-made hero who battles the world by themselves. But real wealth, real success, it's never a solo game. Even the legends had help. Look at Elon Musk. On the surface, he seems like a one-man empire. But dig deeper and you'll find he was part of a network, the PayPal Mafia, a group of ambitious, driven individuals who built PayPal, sold it for $1.5 billion, and then went on to launch companies like YouTube, Yelp, LinkedIn, and SpaceX. They didn't just achieve success, they amplified each other's success. They shared knowledge, invested in each other's ideas, and built an unstoppable force. And you know what? You can create your own version of that, no matter where you are right now. You don't need to be launching billion-dollar tech companies to understand the principle. Even if you're just trying to start a small side hustle or grow a local business, the truth remains. Trying to do everything yourself is a losing strategy. I've seen it time and time again. Entrepreneurs who burn out, hustlers who stay small, dreamers who never scale up, all because they refuse to ask for help or build a team. The reality is, there are people out there who already have the skills you don't, who love doing the things you hate, who can lift the weight you're trying to carry alone. And today, it's easier than ever to find them. Especially when it comes to older business owners who are still stuck in the past. So many of them are brilliant at what they do, but are completely lost when it comes to technology, websites, invoicing systems, online marketing. They don't even know that tools like Odoo exist, where you can build an entire business management system in one place. If you're young, tech-savvy, and willing to learn a little, you could walk into almost any old-school business and offer to drag them into the 21st century, and get paid handsomely for it. You could be the bridge between where their business is stuck and where it could soar. And in the process, you build your own empire, brick by brick. But you won't get there by trying to be Superman. You need a team, a network, a circle of skills that complement your own. Collaboration isn't weakness, it's strategy. It's how the greats move faster, smarter, and further than anyone else. So ask yourself, are you still trying to do it all alone? Or are you ready to start building your winning team? Comment below and tell me, who's one person you need to connect with this year to move closer to your dream? The trap of having too many inputs. Have you ever felt completely overwhelmed? Like you're standing in the middle of a crowded street with 100 people shouting advice at you from every direction? That's what happens when you have too many inputs. Everyone seems to have an opinion on how you should live your life. Start a business, get a stable job, go to college, travel the world, settle down, take risks, play it safe. It never stops. And the problem isn't that there's a lack of advice. It's that there's too much, pulling you in so many directions that you end up stuck exactly where you are. This constant bombardment creates what scientists call cognitive overload, a mental traffic jam where you can no longer process, prioritize, or act. You might think you're lazy. You might think you lack motivation. But the truth is, you're paralyzed by the sheer weight of conflicting opinions swirling around in your mind. I learned early that the only way to cut through the noise was to start with the end in mind. I didn't know the exact details. I couldn't predict every step of the journey, but I had a vision. I knew I wanted freedom, ownership, and the ability to live life on my own terms. So I worked backwards. Every opportunity, every piece of advice, every path people suggested, I filtered it through one simple question. Does this move me closer to my vision or further away? If it didn't align, I ignored it, no matter how convincing or popular it sounded. And that discipline saved me years of wasted effort. Most people are drowning in opinions, but almost none of those opinions come from people who have actually achieved what you want. Think about that. You're letting broke people tell you how to get rich. You're letting unhappy people advise you on happiness. You're letting quitters shape your mindset about perseverance. It's madness. You have to be ruthless with your inputs. You have to curate your influences like your life depends on it. Because it does. Start listening only to those who have walked the path you want to walk. Cut out the noise. Focus on quality over quantity. Because every time you let in another random opinion, you dilute your own clarity, your own momentum. And momentum is everything. Without it, you stay stuck. With it, you become unstoppable. So, here's the question you need to answer right now. Are you curating your inputs, or are you being controlled by them? Comment below and tell me, what's one piece of bad advice you're finally ready to ignore starting today? Let's take back control of your focus, because clarity is power, and it's yours for the taking. The trap of being ego-driven. Ego is the silent killer of dreams. It whispers to you that you're smarter than you are, more capable than you are, further along than you really are. It blinds you to the very opportunities that could change your life forever. I've seen it 1,000 times. People who start off hungry, humble, eager to learn, but the moment they taste a little success, their heads swell and their progress dies. They stop listening, they stop studying, they start believing they have nothing left to learn. And that's when the downfall begins, quietly, slowly, but inevitably. The truth is, the higher you climb, the more humility you need. Because success magnifies weaknesses you refuse to acknowledge. If you're obsessed with the end goal, constantly fantasizing about your million-dollar business, your dream body, your dream life, but you're too proud to focus on the small, tedious, daily steps it takes to get there, you've already lost. The real players don't get caught up in the fantasy. They obsess over the fundamentals. They stay students of the game. They know that no matter how much they achieve, they're barely scratching the surface of what there is to know. It's called the iceberg principle. What you know is just the tiny, visible tip. The real mastery, the real power, lies beneath the surface, hidden from casual observers, hidden from the arrogant. If you think you already know it all, you've closed the door on growth. And when growth stops, decay begins. Every billionaire you admire, every world-class athlete, every true master of their craft, they all have something in common. Relentless, ruthless curiosity, a willingness to be wrong, a hunger to keep learning, even when they're already at the top. That's not weakness. That's why they're at the top. So let me ask you, are you open enough to stay a student? Or has ego already started building invisible walls around your potential? Comment below and tell me honestly, what's one area of your life where you know you need to stay humble and keep learning? The more we acknowledge what we don't know, the faster we grow. Stay humble. Stay hungry. Stay unstoppable. The trap of passing the blame. If you want to guarantee a lifetime of frustration and mediocrity, there's a simple formula. Blame everyone but yourself. Blame the economy. Blame your parents. Blame the government. Blame your boss. It's easy. It feels good in the moment. It protects your fragile ego from the harsh truth that maybe, just maybe, you had more control over your situation than you wanted to admit. But here's the brutal reality. Every time you point a finger outward, you surrender your power. You tell the world, and more dangerously, you tell yourself, that you are helpless, that you are at the mercy of forces you can't influence. And once you believe that lie, you stop trying. You stop growing. You stop becoming. There's an old Chinese proverb that says, "The man who blames others has a long way to go on his journey. The man who blames himself is halfway there. The man who blames no one has already arrived." Most people never make it past the first stage. They live their entire lives with a magnifying glass, scanning the world for who's at fault when things don't go their way. It becomes a reflex, a habit, a prison, and slowly their dreams die inside that prison, suffocated by excuses. But the winners, the ones who truly change their lives, they pick up a mirror instead of a magnifying glass. They ask the hard questions. Where did I fall short? What could I have done differently? How can I take ownership even in situations where it's not 100% my fault? It's not about blaming yourself unfairly. It's about reclaiming the power to change. Because if it's your fault, it's within your power to fix. That's freedom. Every day you have a choice. Magnifying glass or mirror. Victim or creator. Excuses or action. Only one leads to the life you actually want. So let me ask you, what's one area of your life where you've been reaching for the magnifying glass instead of the mirror? Comment below and let's talk about it. Real growth starts the moment you stop blaming and start building. And the sooner you choose ownership, the sooner you start winning. For real. The trap of staying static. Comfort is the most seductive form of failure. It whispers promises of safety, of familiarity, of security. But behind those promises hides a life of regret. You don't wake up one day and realize you're trapped. It happens slowly, quietly, one small compromise at a time. You stay a little longer in the job you hate because it's stable. You avoid the difficult conversation because it's awkward. You skip the new opportunity because it feels risky. And before you know it, years have passed. You're in the same place, living the same story, with dreams that have quietly turned into distant memories. Staying static feels safe, but it's not. It's a slow death. Comfort zones are like invisible cages. They don't lock you in all at once. They shrink your world 1 inch at a time until you're too afraid to move. The people you admire, the ones living lives of freedom, passion, and abundance, they didn't get there by staying comfortable. They expanded their comfort zones relentlessly. They did the things that scared them. They leaned into uncertainty. They took risks when it was easier to stand still. I know this because I lived it. When I was younger, everything in my life pointed toward playing it safe, sticking to the traditional path, avoiding embarrassment, minimizing risk. But deep down, I knew I wanted more. So I made a choice. I stepped out. I took the low-paying apprenticeship. I launched the side hustles. I risked my savings to start my first business. I flew to China to negotiate with manufacturers even though I didn't speak the language. Each step was terrifying. Each step expanded my world. Even after building a successful business, even after achieving financial freedom, I refused to let myself stay static. At 53 years old, when most people are slowing down, I decided to start a YouTube channel to share everything I learned. I stepped into a brand new arena where I was a complete beginner again, and it was one of the best decisions of my life.